Hello everybody. I have to apologize, I haven't done a video for many days. I'm nursing a cough that I got infected by my son when I was in Singapore. So please bear with me if I don't appear too animated or my voice is not quite the same. But today, I saw a very interesting article which I thought is important for everybody to take a look. So the title of my talk today revolves around when is your HDB flat become to be worthless. So I saw an article, surprisingly, from a non-financial background. It's actually from Her World. I thought Her World only take a look at women's stuff and things like that. But the title of the article, interestingly, is talking about what happens when your 99 years HDB lease ends. Okay, and that's a very interesting title. So I would imagine that our HDB flats right now, even though it's rising pretty fast because of all the situation, eventually one day will have a decline. And the question is, when does it start declining, or when does it start declining rapidly, right? So if we understand this, then what we should all do is to time it such a way that when it hit a peak, at least in terms of the age, and then before it start declining and we all get hit. This is important because at the current situation right now, we see a lot of purchases by home buyers that are at 1.5 $1.45 million and things like that. So it's a really high price, but these flats are pretty old. Okay, pretty old. So it seems that everybody is ignoring the possibility that one day a decay will have to happen. So the question is when, right? Between a start to 99 years, when does the decay start to happen? Well, this article is very well written. And I won't go. I'll pin it up, the link, so that y'all can all read it. Okay, but I read to you something that I found. I never knew about it. So let's make a guess what the number is, right? Logically, you don't wait until the 98th year, then you start selling, right? Then that'll be too late. Besides, most of us won't live until that age. But at some point of time, it will reach a point where it starts to decline. Is it at the 80th mark, or the 70th mark, or the 60 or 50, or when? I don't know. Well, there's some interesting benchmark that are policy related that we can use as a gauge. I didn't know that there is a CPF rules that says this. Okay, the CPF funds cannot be used to purchase a flat if the remaining lease is less than 30 years, and CPF can only be used, okay, if the buyer's age plus the remaining lease is at least 80 years old. So there are two things here. Let's talk about the first one first. If the CPF funds cannot be used to purchase a house if the remaining lease is less than 30 years. So there is a restriction at the 70-year-old mark already. Of course, 70 years is a long time, but 70-year-old mark, there is a restriction. CPF funds cannot be used at all. And if we are assuming that all the buyers are rich people who will just smash cash into it, okay, well, the buyers are also, even if they have the cash, okay, I don't think they are idiots, right? They also want to make sure that whatever they purchase is not a depreciating asset, right? Or is not an asset that's going to be worthless or depreciating. So they will take note of this as well. So somewhere around the 70-year mark is the first milestone that we need to take a look very carefully. Okay, so if your remaining lease is less than 34 years, then that's a very serious mark. Now, people will not wait until then. People will wait until then that they sell, right? So people will realize that, if at the 30-year mark CPF funds cannot be used, then I better make sure that I start selling before that, right? This is a rule that is very, very obscure, and I thought that I read it wrongly. So what I did was that I actually went to Google the HDB website, okay, and I found that, oh, it's actually true. No, it comes from the it comes from a HDB website. So it says that here, I'll read out to you. Okay, this is from the CPF website, not HDB website. This it says that no CPF saving can be used if the remaining lease of the HDB flat or the DBSS flat is less than 30 years at the time of purchase, right? So that's the first mark. There is a second mark that we should be concerned about as well, which is why I said just now, the CPF can only be used if the buyer's age plus the remaining lease is at least 80 years. So the buyer's age, assuming let's say it's 30 years, okay, that means that the flat must at least have 50 years of age. If not, the CPF funds cannot be used, right? Now you will assume that for resale flat, you know, all the buyers, okay, would be more than 30 years old, maybe. So let's assuming it's 40 years old. Okay, 40 years is the average age. I don't know what's the average age. 40 years. Then if 40 years is the average age, then the remaining life of CPF flat should have at least 40 years, right? If not, CPF funds cannot be used at all. So 40 years is the next milestone. 40 years left, okay, which means at 99 years means that it must at least have 59 years. So it must at least have 59 years of life, okay. So that's the second mark, right? So it's getting tighter and tighter. You see that. So the first benchmark is 70 years. So 70 years, the flat value will start to drop dramatically. Then the next mark is 59 years. Okay, because at 59 years, assuming that the average HDB resale purchaser is about 40 years old, then somewhere around 59 years, the HDB flat will start to have value problem. So it also says here that bank loans are also tightened significantly, as most of the banks will reject a property with less than 35 years remaining from lease. Okay, I don't know whether this part is true because it says here in the whole world. I don't work in the bank, and so some of y'all might be able to tell me whether that is true or not. But I think the rule of thumb from the whole world says very clearly so it's best you start planning for it early so that you don't end up in a dead end. You should aim to sell your house before it has 60 years left on the lease. This part I agree. Okay, this part I agree, which is just now I say the 59 years, right? So if your flat is left with 60 years, most likely the decay will kick in fast, okay? Because there are policy restrictions that start kicking in. So in short, your HDB flat will begin its worthlessness, okay? Worthlessness once the 60-year-old mark is hit. So it will not be totally worthless, but the worth will start to decline and potentially decline rapidly. So this is a mark that I think we all need to take a look. So the question right now is, what about private leasehold 99? Well, I don't know about private leasehold 99 having the same rules as the HDB flats, okay? But I would say that in a similar fashion, a leasehold 99 years private estate may be subjected to a similar decline, okay? Because they're all kind of linked with the HDB, right? So if the HDB start to have decline at those times, then those old leasehold 99 will have also flow-on effect. So I think we also got to be careful at 99 years leasehold private houses that are above 60 years old. So for this is I'm not saying the house value will crash, collapse, or whatever. So stop saying Mr. Lu is attacking HDB flat. This is This is basically wisdom I would like to advise everybody. It didn't come from me, it come from her world, okay? So I think there's a lot of merits in considering this, that basically once a flat reach 60 years old, avoid it with a 10-foot pole, okay? Avoid a 10-foot pole. And if your flat is reaching a 60-year-old mark, and if the market right now is high, go sell it and refresh yourself with a lease that is as new as well. So I don't know how many flats in Singapore are actually hitting the 60-year-old mark, but I think it's a risk that is not worth taking. So now that I have a HDB flat at hand and it has reached $1 million and beyond that already, maybe it's time that I consider refreshing the lease before it hits 60-year-old mark. Maybe I should try to even consider selling it before it reaches a 70-year mark, okay? So that whoever wants to buy over it, either you are cash super rich that you're willing to ignore all these CPF rules and you're willing to accept a depreciating asset. So I think this is a food for thought. I'll be happy to hear your comments. Please hit subscribe and like if you want to follow my channel. And I hope that my throat will be better tomorrow. Then I can be more animated and more exciting in my delivery of it. So let's hear from your comments, both not just in my YouTube channel, but also in my Telegram channel, where I have over 30,000 people and many community experts there giving a fair comment. So let's hear from them as well. Okay, so the Telegram group is called Lu1M65. I'll try to pin up in the description as well. Please click and follow us. Okay, thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.